profit growth, if you track from 2023, there is a big jump to 2024. Share price increment justified. 2025, we see stagnation already. DBS just reported its latest financial 2025 results, and the numbers are quite interesting. On one hand, DBS has delivered record full-year profits before tax of $13.1 billion, and total income has hit a new high of $22.9 billion. How it was achieved, as you can see in the next line over there, they've done proactive hedging and they have received record deposits. On the other hand, net profits have fell, net profit, and that's because of higher tax expenses. So this is actually a permanent change. And more than that, fourth quarter net profits actually fell about 10% year on year to $2.36 billion. Worst part is this actually missed analyst forecasts, which is why the share price has reacted downwards. So in today's video, I'll be breaking down DBS's latest results in simple English terms, what drove its record income for last year, why fourth quarter profits have dropped, and is it a cause for concern, and what this could mean for DBS's dividends and share price moving forward. Hi guys, welcome back. Reiterating again, I'm not bullish on banks at current market cycle. Naturally, I'll be presenting this in a more conservative lens. So if you wanted rah-rah to buy banks, there is no alternative in Singapore, exchange, etc., then this video is not for you. I've even a video done previously, which I'll leave towards the end, of how I'll invest $100,000, and nothing was into banks. But if you are open to hearing a conservative tone on banks, which is rare to find, then yes, this video is for you. Now, let's start with what DBS actually reported. Firstly, let's compare year on year to see its numbers in its different segments. The first thing over here, higher tax, which is what I mentioned just now. This relates to the global minimum tax of 15%, which has already been known in the market. So this drop kind of forecasted already, no problem. But the second part is the net interest income, which is the bank's biggest revenue pie, which is also why all three of our Singapore banks have brought up since 2023 when interest rates spiked up. This has dropped by 239 million when we compare year on year. So the question is why, correct? Quite easy to explain. Net interest margin can be seen over here, and it has slid down from 2.12% for the entire group all the way down to 1.93%. So when margins drop, even though the loan book enlarges, there's still a net drop in net interest income. Having said that, DBS's net interest margin is still better than OCBC and UOB already. But the problem is this: if the economy is bad, not only will the margin drop, loan sizes could also shrink, correct? Because corporates are less rosy about investments for the long term. And property loans take-up rates might drop, for example. And more than that, defaults might also surface, which is what I'll cover a bit later. So don't think for a moment that banks are defensive. Don't let the share price appreciation hide the fact that banks are actually very cyclical and they move according to the economy. Traditionally, how bank share prices have worked is that they'll lead the index. First people to recover, if it's in terms of COVID crisis, they are the ones that go up first. Then when the big boys go up already, the rest of the index, the rest of the small cap kind of catch on. So once you understand how Singapore stocks work, you have a game plan on rotation, correct? Outperformance will come in with the rest of the market. But also, having said that, Singapore economy is strong. But if you see down under in Australia, Australian banks, for example, are showing mixed results. National Australian Bank, NAB, small gains for the year, much lower than DBS. Commonwealth Bank, which is the biggest in Australia, is actually down on a one-year basis. Okay, so with that clarified, let's move on to compare fourth quarter 2025 versus fourth quarter 2024 to understand on seasonal changes. Yes, fee income has risen. This is the saving grace. And just in case you didn't know also, fee income comes from a few places, which includes investment banking, wealth management, which is the biggest pie, which is what I've circled, loans, cards, and transaction services. So this is actually from this presentation, which I'll leave the sources below for you to investigate a bit further. And back to the point on wealth management. It is the biggest pie, correct? And the tailwind for it is that Singapore is attracting a lot of family offices. Some records have it 10x in the last 5 years. So Singapore is a major player. And now we have more than 2,000 family offices already in Singapore. Needless to say, DBS Private Bank is very strong in that segment. But all in all, when we pull up pure wealth management statistics, we would see that year on year, yes, there's a jump, 5%, from 1238 million to 1303 million. But if we compare against the previous quarter's jump, you realize that this jump is already slow because previous quarter was 13%. So my explanation to this variance is that wealth management is very dependent on equities being strong. If equity markets are weak, we have a bear market, this wealth management income would naturally drop also. Okay, so clear on that? If you've learned something, smash the like button. It's taken team hours to prepare this presentation. Thank you very much for the support. Again, this is not a buy or sell recommendation. If you have small positions in DBS and you're hold on, no problem also. I'm just giving my perspective on valuation, which means if share price comes down significantly, that could be a time to buy because DBS ultimately is one of the best franchises in Singapore, correct? So if that's clear, let's use the wealth management to transit to understand what has caused a drop in profits. If we compare quarter on quarter between third quarter to fourth quarter, this looks like a 20% decline. Very scary. Fee income drop, never mind. But the bigger part to highlight is actually this specific provision, which has dropped $246 million, largely due to recognition of previously watch-listed real estate exposure as non-performing loan. What are the details? If we see the reports, it's actually in Hong Kong, not in Singapore. Singapore, everything still looks good, I understand that. You know, previously UOB had some write-downs, mainly in China and in US. So now DBS is also making a specific provision. I don't know about OCBC, which will be releasing soon its numbers. And as to, is this loan problem just this only? I'm not too sure about it. But again, DBS, in my opinion, is richly priced. We do need a margin of safety. Again, for loans, in good times, nothing will default. All the cockroaches can still be hidden inside the closet. But when recession comes, things start to snowball. That's how credit risk actually works. So being an investor, we need to look deeper than just the surface dividend performance-wise, which if you see over here, looks very nice. 2023 all the way to 2025, you can see the ordinary dividends increasing from 49 cents to 60 cents and right now to 66 cents. DBS, as also mentioned, for the next 2 years, they are also maintaining this capital return. It's a capital return. Not that this is going to be sustained long term. If not, they would have termed it as ordinary dividends. That's how it works. So with capital return and ordinary dividends increasing to 66 cents, fourth quarter they're going to pay 81 cents. Very nice, but we need this to be sustainable. And just to give you some context, with the drop in profits, earnings per share for fourth quarter, which cannot be found openly, which needs to be manually worked out, is around 91 cents. So you can see there might be still some room to massage this dividend growth, but the underlying profits still need to grow. That's my concern for Singapore banks. Profit growth, if you track from 2023, there is a big jump to 2024. Share price increment justified. 2025, we see stagnation already. 2026, not likely big growth because of net interest income drop. Which means also, from a price earnings perspective, it is likely still going to stay expensive. And in my recent Georgetown Investment Summit, thank you very much if you attended. Leave in the comments if you've done so. I've also presented that DBS, back at $59, was about 15 times price earnings. Today, it's 14 times plus. But it's still significantly higher than the 10-year average of 10.2 times. I know investors are generally rosy, but it's easier to justify it's pricey right now for banks. So with that, I'd like to answer also a question. Hi Josh, is 50% allocation of my investment into 3 banks too much? I'm an income investor. By that default, yes, because banks are richly priced right now, I would suggest to diversify. If you need help to build dividend income for retirement or get full advice for retirement planning, look for my links below. I work very uniquely on a fee, and more importantly, these are raving reviews from my private clients. I do have a pre-qualifying process and I'll guide you from there. Again, look for my links below. There are sectors in Singapore stocks which have good value and also pay dividend. And if you're curious to find out, check out this previous video I had on how I invest 100,000. We've done a sign off from here and see you there. Invest safely as always. Hope you learned something. Goodbye.